Hey guys, so let's get started with the talents here. I'm gonna go super fast, but I try to pack in as much information as possible. So for the first one, we have a desecrated ground. It gets you out of the cyclones, it gets you out of any cities, and makes you immune to them. The only thing that it doesn't work on are disarms and silences, but it works pretty much against everything else. Which is shame. I would love to have some sort of a disarm protection, to be honest. And yes, I know we have a weapon, but the proc from Colin Crusader is just so much greater. Next one we have Remorseless Winter. It's basically you pop that shit, everything around you gets stunned for about 6 seconds. Good thing about it is it is the biggest stun in the game, 6 seconds. It's on par with a kidney shot. The negative portions about it is that it's defensively dispellable, so they can dispel the debuff, and it takes about 5 seconds to activate it. It's good against the melee cliffs, it's good if your team in 3s won't have a lot of stun, but if your team has stuns, Desecrated Ground will definitely be a superior choice. Next one is Gorfin Grasp. You can target your ally or your enemy, and you can grip your enemies towards it. Doesn't grip your allies, but it only grips your enemies, and it is gonna be amazing for RPGs when you wanna synergize something like AoE grip into Shadow Fury or AoE grip into a freaking Solar Beam. It's really good talent. It's probably one of my favorites for RPGs, but unfortunately it's not that great for 3s. Well, not unfortunately, it's just a situational talent. Next one we have Blood Tap, which is amazing for actually Unholy, and because it gives a lot of death runes, and that's what Unholy kind of started a little bit against. It's death runes, and it's really good for setting up the kills, guys. Blood Tap is pretty much good for strangulates, good for enraging your pet if you need it. Like overall, if you want to just go out and not on pressure, you need that interrupt. And it's amazing in terms of bursity. Look at this. I'm popping Gargoyle, Trinket, Strangulate him, pop 2 Blood Taps, got full necrotics, and the guy died. And he's gonna start bitching right now about my class because he had no idea what I was doing. He was tanking me, and yes, I completely destroyed him. There you go, absorb 400k heal. Yeah, so a lot of people were like, oh, decays are shit, decays are shit, decays are do good damage, but until I started dueling some healers who thought they were top shit, oh my god, they croaked and they bitched about my class really badly. I'm sorry guys if we will get nerfed. Now when it comes to Runic Empowerment and Runic Corruption, DPS wise, Runic Corruption is a little bit ahead of actually everything else for sustain. Runic Empowerment is just right behind. I think Runic Empowerment could be a solid choice for Frost, and Blood Tap will be a solid choice for Frost as well. But in all honesty, I thought it actually was a lot more useful in a fight when I was blood tapping, to be honest. I was doing 2s today, and I'll show you some footage of it later on. It just lasts so long, you guys have no idea. So next one we have a healing talent, so to say. And the healing is very healy. I have Conversion, which is actually quite nice for sustained healing, but for it to work, we're actually gonna have to convert all of our runic power into the healing, and it's goddamn annoying as hell. You guys have no idea. We're just losing so much pressure, and we have no chance of a counter pressure. So Conversion is good. It's good in the duels against the Death Sherlock. Believe it or not, we're actually healing almost as much as them. But he's still whining, by the way. But in all honesty, I think Conversion is very situational. It could be good in 2s. I could see a potential work in 2s. For 3s, probably not. The Death Pact is one of my favorites, and the reason why I say it's one of my favorite skills is because A, it no longer kills our pet. It only does 50% damage to our pet, so we can Death Pact, put a few runic power into our pet, and actually help it get enraged faster because of a glyph of Death Emperance. In addition to that, also it doesn't cost any runic power. We cannot still use it while silenced, of course. Now when it comes to Death Touch, it is not good at all. It does 17k damage, kills you for 16-17k. I believe in arenas it's a little bit higher because of the PvP power and how it works, but overall it's complete garbage in my opinion. It's just so not worth it. You guys absolutely have no idea. It literally, like, you're sacrificing about 30k necrotics and 14-15k damage by not using a necrotic to a Death Siphon, and Death Siphon does 15k damage, 20k heal. Not worth it at all. Not only you're losing the other healing spells such as Death Spec or Conversion, but you're also sacrificing a death rune. It's a double cost associated with the talent. I don't like it. Okay, so this advance is freaking amazing. Not only it baseline, we no longer have to have our unholy runes on cooldown for it to take effect, it also gives us 10% extra movement speed, bumping it up to 126 in unholy presence. And it also, when we pop it, we also get a mini sprint that bumps our speed to 149% and makes us unsnareable below 100%. This is by far one of my favorite talents for the whole DK entire tree. This advance is also exceptionally a really good talent when you actually wanna try to apply as much aids as you possible on the battlefield, and you pop it offensively and you can just run around basically almost unsnareable, and you will afflict a lot of freaking diseases. Take a look at this field, guys. Take a look at how much of a disease I was able to actually apply within, like, what, how long does it last? Within 10 seconds. 10 seconds I was able to apply on all basically target damage, but I also had to walk for so long. It's basically double of the regular RPG fight. Chill Bands has always been a very solid choice for us to get a snare / root from Chain of Ice, and most importantly, it does actually converge with the pestilence and stuff, so it's actually really good for unholy. But the biggest benefit of having a Chill Bands, A, for peeling, and B, for offensive icy touch dispel that also applies the snare. So think about it as a mini Chain of Ice, so to say, because you will be able to snare them at the same time. Asphyxiate have its niches. It's not the most amazing talent in the world, and mainly because we cannot line up our CC like a pet stun or into a strangulate. It does have a cool animation, like they're holding on to their throat, but to be honest, it's more of a joke talent. But unless you're fighting something incredible stupid like Feral Prat Warrior or something like that in twos, Asphyxiate actually could be useful in there. Outside of that, I don't see it to be very good. I think it falls short because it jars stuns, it replaces Strangulate, and will limit our Chain of Ice route or mobility for it. Okay, so for the last two talents, I'm gonna go through them relatively quickly because this is a really long video. Purgatory is basically a cheat death. You cannot be killed, but all the damage you take, it records as a negative, sort of like a necrotic healing, and the healer, in order to actually revive you from the effect of Purgatory, have to heal through the whole damage first. The biggest thing about it, it's amazing in RBGs for a blood decay flag carriers, simply put because it will be really freaking easy for all of us to for them to actually survive, because they can yell out, hey, Purgatory, and they can get Lay on Hands, Nature Swiftness, healing touches, and so on and so forth. So it's a really good cooldown for RBGs for a blood decays. Maybe even for DPS, I'll need to play with it a little bit. Anti-magic zone, when it comes to defensive cooldown, it falls short. It falls flat on its ass compared to Lichborn. The only thing I could say about anti-magic zone is, first of all, that it's a placeable, interactable, and placeable on the map, and second of all, it could be actually very good, incredibly good against comes like RMP, who's running with Assassination Rogue, and therefore you can actually easily, and I mean really easy to actually peel for your teammates, because you can basically place it like D&D. And Lichborn is by far the winner, will be picked most of the time, not only because it's a CC out, but it's also a really good healing. It's an incredible healing. It heals me right now for like 66k with a trinket proc. It's amazing heal, and it's even before the PvP power healing. The only thing I don't like about that is that A, it heals for too much, and B, it actually does not belong in this tree. In all honesty, it does not belong because it's a healing talent in a damage mitigation talent bar. So what I would actually suggest Blizzard to do is to actually nerf Lichborn healing by 30 to 40% and make it baseline, and give us, please give us Bone Shield, because we do need a Bone Shield against the heavy heroes like warriors and ferals and so on and so forth. And for the first talent tree, we have Unholy Blight, and Unholy Blight is very Unholy Blighty, like I already showed you with that advance. Very easy to run around and apply a lot of diseases. The only thing about it is that it is a 10-second cooldown, and it does have a 10 yards range. The stuff, one of my favorites is actually Rolling Blood talent, and especially it's great because excuse me, it does work with our Glyph of Pestilence. Let me show you. For example, I'm applying full disease on this target and I'm gonna Blood Bowl Pestilence here, and you see it got to this dummy and to this critter, but it doesn't have a disease on this dummy out here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just reglyph it and I put a Glyph of Pestilence, which is gonna be a must for RPGs if you want to spec in this, and I'm gonna hit Blood Bowl right now. And as you guys can see, it actually transferred to a dummy. Another neat trick about it, I would say, is that let's say you have a death rune, right? And let's say I'm gonna use this death rune for necrotics. And I'm not targeting this dummy, I'm gonna target this big raid dummy. And I wanna convert my blood runes into a death rune so I can line up my burst. And what I'm doing here, and I'm just gonna blood boil. And just because Blood Bowl hits the nearby dummies over here, it will still convert the blood rune into a death rune, so it doesn't actually have to hit your target, which is pretty amazing against the hunters or mages who, or even lugs who have their pet gnawing the shit out of you and they're cutting themselves. So you can just blood bowl and get those runes and get that runic power. Last but not least, we have a Plague Lich, which is basically a 30-second cooldown. It consumes our diseases on the target and it actually gives it a death rune. The requirements for it has to have 2 diseases. So no, if you think you can be a Frost Decay who can just Howling Blast and then Plague Lich, Howling Blast, Plague Lich, that shit won't fly at all. So I have most of my runes on cooldown and I'm gonna pop my Plague Lich. Wait. Another requirement for it, which I find kind of really weird, you're gonna have to have most of your runes on cooldown, which is sometimes not that easy to apply. And there you go, finally I got it. There's my Plague Lich, there's the dots. It's a mediocre talent sometimes, and it could be extremely powerful talent. And let me reiterate on it really quickly. There's a Glyph of Auto Break. And what it does, it makes your Auto Break have absolutely no cooldown, but it costs only 40 runic power to apply your diseases. So every time you want to apply both of your diseases on the target, it will cost you 40 runic power. One sec, I'm trying to get out of this freaking combat and shit. And there you go. So for those who think it's a lot, think about it this way. When we're speccing into a blood tap, we need a 2.5 death coils, literally 2.5 death coils, because it consumes 5 charges, it generates 2 per coil. We need 2.5 charges to convert one of our depleted runes into a death runes. 2.5 death coil, it's 2.5 times 32, it's gonna be basically, I believe, 64 plus 16, holy shit, 80. Wow, I'm pretty bad at it. Yeah, 80. So we'll need the 80 runic power to just get another death rune from the blood tap. So spending a 40 runic power from your auto break glyph, it could be actually pretty well, and especially it could be work with really good with the chillbanes, because it will snare the target at the same time. So I guess that's about it, guys. This is my analogy. My favorite build is gonna be actually the following. This is my build, this is not your build. Build your own shit. If you like my build, please use it, but also try to theory craft yourself. I want to hear your opinions on what build would be actually the greatest, to be honest, in PvP. What do you like about certain builds? I want to theory craft with you guys, so give me the pleasure. So for the first one is, I'm gonna go with the Rolling Blood, Lichborn, Death Advance, Death Spec, Blood Tap. It's a for threes and for RBGs. And for the last one, I'm probably gonna go with a Desecrated Ground for 3s / Remorseless Winter, and a Gorfing Grass for RBGs. This is gonna be my build. I know it's pretty bland, I know it's pretty straightforward, but so far I've seen this works out the best. We will have some really great oh shit bottom healing, and we're also gonna have some really solid AoE disease sprayed as Unholy Decays. So that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, everybody, and до свидания.